At the Steel Us Blinds starting Monday.
The world's greatest female gymnasts are gathered in Moscow for the World Championships, and the preliminary competition has set the stage for what should be a dramatic and exciting afternoon as we bring you the finals in the individual events. With the Olympic boycott having diluted the field in the summer of 1980, today's field will be the finest to perform under one roof since the 1979 World Championships. Titles will be decided in the floor exercise, vault, balance beam, and uneven bars, and you'll watch 1984 Olympic hopefuls like Maxi Ganauk of East Germany and America's Julianne McNamara, the leader going into the finals of the balance beam. The Women's World Championships today on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Reggie Jackson has made the...
It was the venue for both basketball and boxing. Today, it's been set up for gymnastics. The World Gymnastics Championships taking place here.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Al Michaels, and today in Moscow at the World Gymnastics Championships, we'll be taking a look at competition in the women's individual events. And a capacity crowd will look on. They've had plenty to cheer about already in these World Championships because the Soviet women won the team title and won it rather handily. And in the women's all-around competition, a young Soviet gymnast by the name of Olga Bicharova, a name you may not have heard of before, but a name you should file away because you'll be hearing a lot about Olga Bicharova between now and the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles, won the women's overall title. As far as the Americans are concerned, as a team, the American women finished a somewhat disappointing 6th. But I think things look a bit more promising today. And for more on that, let me bring in our expert commentator on gymnastics, Gordon Maddox. I think we have a right to expect a little bit more from the Americans this afternoon.
Oh, absolutely, Al. The big story for us is going to be an American named Julianne McNamara. Julianne finished in a strong 7th place tie in the all-around. And now going into the individual event finals, she is actually in 1st place on the balance beam. Her strong competition is going to come from a young East German named Maxi Ganauk. Now, no one knows better than Julianne McNamara that in the history of American gymnastics, only one woman has ever won a gold medal in the World Championships, that being Marcia Frederick in 1978 in Strasbourg, France, where she won the gold on the uneven parallel bars.
Now, you mentioned Maxi Ganauk of East Germany. She has already won her first title in the vault. Let's have a look.
Into the finals, Maxi carried a 9.875 mark, which she was awarded in team competition. She received a 9.8 for this, and the cumulative mark represents the final total for each of the competitors today.
And her layout Tsukahara is really a winning vault.
Now, the first event we'll take a look at will be the uneven bars, and there's a 3-way tie for first place between Elena Davidova of the Soviet Union, Maxi Ganauk of East Germany, and Ma Yanheng of China. Julianne McNamara of the United States is tied for 5th. And here's Julianne, who carries in a score of 9.80 into the finals, trailing the leaders by a 1/10 of a point. Julianne McNamara, 16 years old, out of Danville, California.
Watch this start, too. It's an interesting start. She goes all the way to the high bar. She'll dive with a half and take it right up into a high start, pivot down into her giant swings. And watch her get out of her giant swings. An interesting wrinkle. She drops into an eagle position. Nice setup on her handstand. Hip circle. Into a staller shoot. Another staller shoot. Now hips. She does a hip circle, front somersault with a nice landing.
Julianne McNamara with a nice performance in the uneven bars. And, of course, coming up next for Julianne will be the balance beam, the event in which she is the leader. As we await Julianne's score, you can see the 5 boxes on top. They will indicate each individual judge's scoring. And at the bottom, under 119, Julianne's number will come the score. The perfect score, of course, would be a 10. You would throw out the high mark and the low mark, as well as that of the superior judge, which is upper left, when we see each of the individual judges' scores. And a 9.9, a very promising start for Julianne McNamara today, giving her a total of 19.70 in the uneven bars. And now the young lady that's won everyone's heart here, Olga Bicharova, the all-around champion, 15 years old. She is 4 feet 6 and 65 pounds. And 4th in the uneven bars, coming into the finals, carrying in a mark of 9.85.
She'll jump to a full turn, catch the low bar, and after this, her routine is basically a stock routine, except it's in the past when I've seen it, it's been so well executed. There's a staller with a half turn into a staller the other direction. Little mistake, maybe a major mistake, I don't know. If it was a mistake, it was well covered, I'll tell you that. Getting set up for her dismount now. It'll be a Komen each. Front somersault with a half twist.
Olga Vicharova, I'm sure I'm not alone. When you look at Olga, she appears to be 10, 11, at most 12 years old. You must be 15 to compete in the World Championships, and the documents handed forth from the Soviet officials indicate that she reached her 15th birthday last month.
Well, let's see if this is a mistake now. Coming out of this stalder, it looks to me like she doesn't have enough rotation and stalls it out right there. And then swings down, takes a straddle vault over the low bar. Whether it's a... Oh, look at that, Al.
Well, the judges obviously feel it was a mistake. They give her a 9.55. Her chances for a medal in this event evaporate. She is the world champion as far as all-around competition is concerned, but this is the only event in which she will appear today.
The criteria for a compact copier of a different sort. It's here, the Canon NP210. A fixed copy board saves space.
Are ascending from the Kremlin wall on the right.
Now we'll take a look at Elena Davidova of the Soviet Union, who carries in a mark of 9.9, one of 3 in the tie for the lead coming in at the moment. Julianne McNamara is in first place.
Boy, she's got some difficulty in her routine. She'll do giant swings forward and then a reverse hecht over the higher bar. Here it comes, reverse hecht right over the top.
The Olympic all-around champion in 1980, Elena Davidova, 20 years old.
Now watch this full and a half pivot out of the giant swing. Whips the bar. That is not a mistake when she hits the bar. And she'll do a front summy to a front landing, a very difficult landing. That's a whale of a routine now.
And the way things have been going thus far at the World Championships, it wouldn't surprise us to see a 10.
I remember in 1972 joking about an 11. It's going to happen, isn't it?
The way things have gone thus far this week.
Well, now let's take another look at this full and a half twisting pirouette. She comes over the bar. There it is. It takes very fast hand action. Good work.
There it is for Davidova, a mark of 9.8, giving her a total of 19.70, and right now she is tied with Julianne McNamara.
Will the number 45.
Now Maxi Ganauk of East Germany, who would need a 9.85 to move into first place.
Not out of the question. She really attacked this apparatus. What a gymnast she is. Already a very bright star. Giant swings were great. Veronin over the top was beautiful. Keeps lots of rhythm into her exercise. Now she'll be getting set up for a dismount. There it is. Cast front with a half twist. That's a sensational routine.
Maxi Ganauk, well, she's already won the vault, and she's got a decent chance now to win the gold here. She needs a 9.85 in that routine, and then trying to stave off Ma Yan-hung, who will be coming up next from China.
Well, let's take another look at her attack on the bar. Watch, she back rises all the way over in her Veronin vault. Comes up to the high bar again. Tap the bar and kip up into handstand. Now another pivot. Now watch her stomach whip back almost to the handstand again. And then, of course, this tremendous dismount. Cast, front somersault with a full and a half twist right there.
And there's the mark at 10 for Maxi Ganauk of East Germany. Maxi Ganauk, by virtue of that 10 clinches, no worse than a tie for first place in the uneven bars. And the only way she won't win it outright would be if Ma Yan-hung follows with a 10. Well, there's Julianne McNamara, who has a chance to pick up a medal here because she's tied with Elena Davidova. Right now they are behind Maxi Ganauk with Ma Yan-hung yet to come. And here is Ma Yan-hung from China, 18 years old, needs a 10 to tie Maxi Ganauk for first place.
And as good as Ganauk was, Ma could be better. She is the most precise uneven bar worker I have ever seen. Now watch her when she gets to her giant. She'll do a hip circle, shoot with a full turn. Perfect. She'll do a Veronin over the bar. Working very well. A little bit over on her hip circle. About where everyone else does it, as a matter of fact. And watch this, a full twisting. Heck, Sonny off. Wow, what a routine.
Well,
if that's not a 10, Al, we won't have any more 10s.
We've seen Maxie Ganauf pick up a 10 here. And now we'll await what the judges rule as far as Ma Yan Hung is concerned. Let's take another look at the dismount.
Well, now Ma comes down, stomach whip, straddles over the low bar, hips. Now watch the dismount. It's just unbelievable. Does a hip circle, releases the bar, and then does a full twist into an absolute dead landing. Oh, sensational.
There's the mark of 9.9 for Ma Yan Hung, and the crowd here doesn't like it. They thought it was a perfect 10. That means Maxie Ganauf has won another gold medal. She's 2 for 2. What did you think, Gordon?
I have to go with the crowd, Al. I thought that Ma was a little bit better.
So Julianne McNamara ties Elena Davidova for third and wins the bronze medal in the uneven bars. Maxie Ganauf of East Germany wins the event. Ma Yan Hung of China finishes second. And Julianne picking up the bronze. We'll be back to watch the medal ceremony after this.
Sensational Sundays only on ABC.
The medals being presented to the competitors in the uneven bars event. Maxie Ganauf having won the gold medal. There is Elena Davidova and Julianne McNamara, who tie for the bronze. The silver medalist, Ma Yan Hung, has not made an appearance. The Chinese are protesting the scoring. And you'll think back to the Olympics last year. There was a controversy involving the scoring in regard to Nadia Comaneci. There is Julianne receiving her bronze medal. But an announcement has been made over the public address system reprimanding the Chinese gymnasts for not appearing for the medal ceremony. However, this is their form of protest as the rest of the competitors make their way up to the stand and congratulate Ganauf, Davidova, and McNamara.
Well, Al, you know, in the first Chinese appearance in World Championship competition in '79 in Fort Worth, the Chinese were so grossly underscored that the other competitors actually demonstrated.
This is the first visit by a Chinese gymnastics team to Moscow in 30 years, and they'll certainly be leaving with a bitter taste. And under the circumstances, I can hardly blame them, Gordon, because Ma's performance did look like a 10.
I couldn't agree more.
Julianne McNamara of the United States, the spotlight somewhat taken away from her. Nonetheless, an impressive performance. She picks up a bronze, and of course, she is seeking a gold medal in the balance beam event. She's the leader going in, and we'll be back with that later when our coverage of the World Gymnastics Championships resumes.
Well, back in ABC Sports Control again, I'm Jim McKay. We'll be returning to pick up the Julianne McNamara story as she moves to the balance beam. This has been, by the way, a very big week for the American women in alpine ski racing.
Let's go. And the crowd anticipates now the beginning of the balance beam finals with Julianne McNamara holding the lead going into the finals. Maxie Ganauf of East Germany is second, and Elena Davidova of the Soviet Union is third. Julianne, of course, picked up an earlier medal, a bronze, in the uneven bars event. This building is partitioned in half. This side was used for boxing during the 1980 Olympics, and as we look on the other side of the wall, that section was used for basketball. A look around this massive structure, which holds a total of 45,000 spectators. It's about the size of the Astrodome in Houston.
Well, now, Gordon, as we get set for the balance beam, the fact that Julianne won her medal, the bronze, in the uneven bars, do you think that will take a little bit of the pressure off her here to maintain first place?
I really do. I think it's fortunate, first of all, that she even qualified in the uneven bars and was able to work one event before she had to come to the beam, because the beam is such a pressure-packed event. Having even competed helped enormously, and then winning the medal's got to help, don't you think?
Well, we're going to find out if Julianne can win the first gold medal for a United States woman since Marcia Frederick back in 1978, and only the second in American history.
The first competitor we'll see on the balance beam is Tracy Talavera from Walnut Creek, California, at the age of 15. She's currently 6th.
Boy, she's had a good career so far. Remember the success she had in the American Cup one year when she won the Cup, the all-around championship there.
She would need a 9.75 on the beam to temporarily move into first place.
It's so interesting, Al, that here we are, the Americans have had so many problems on the balance beam, and then all of a sudden we've qualified 2 of the ladies for the finals in this event.
2 of the 8. Julianne McNamara, of course, the leader. Tracy carries in a 9.55 and is in 6th place in the balance beam.
Aerial walkover into back handspring, very well executed. Right on the money. Now she has to work sideways. She has to work upright, as you're seeing her now, upside down in the inverted position. There she goes. She has to work down on the beam. She's got all those things out of the way. She has to also have some move in there where she does a full pirouette. There's her flare.
Taught to her by Kurt Thomas.
He's had an impact on all of gymnastics, hasn't he? Fine, one leg back, Summy. Tracy looks comfortable. She looks very confident. Now, the routine duration must be 1:10 to 1:30. She's nearing the end. Tracy Talavera has just turned in one heck of a performance.
Well, in 6th place coming in. And a solid chance at the moment, we would think, to move up. Julianne McNamara there to greet her as she descends. And it should be a pretty good score.
And Tracy waves to her friends in the stands. Another look on the beam. Now this thing is only 4 inches wide, and yet she does an aerial cartwheel into back handspring, has it right on track. In fact, in her routine, the balance has been magnificent.
Tracy Talavera turning in a fine performance and awaiting her mark. And it's a 9.7 for Talavera. The crowd doesn't like it at all. And I don't either. I thought it was a much better performance than that, Gordon. Much better.
Well, the scores have been so high. Normally that would be a fine 9-7 routine, but not in this competition.
Right, exactly. Under the circumstances, a low score for Talavera since they've been so high to this point of the competition. We'll have more of the balance beam event in a moment, but while in Moscow, we came upon this outdoor swimming pool, which is open every day of the year, and into which one can make a grand entrance straight from the locker room. No matter how cold it is, the pool is open every day, and people wait in long lines in sub-freezing temperatures to move on in. As for me, I'll take Waikiki. Right now you're looking at Chen Yang of China, who carries in a mark of 9.575 and is currently 4th on the balance beam.
She's working very well, too, so far. Back handspring into a back walkover. The Chinese have become such accomplished gymnasts. There's a tour jeté, a ballet move, difficult move up here, I think. The Chinese have one weak link floor exercise still, but in the apparatus events, they are certainly a force to be contended with. Double full twister off.
Chen Yang of China, who would need a 9.7 to move into 1st place. But of course, the 3 ladies who were 1, 2, 3 coming into this final round yet to come. A 9.7 is the mark for Chen Yang of China. There she is. All right, now the 3 ladies who rank 1, 2, and 3 in the balance beam, as the beam is mounted by Elena Davidova of the Soviet Union in 3rd place coming in, and she carries in a mark of 9.6.
The scores have been low on balance beam for a couple of reasons. The judging panel during the preliminary competition seemed to score rather low, but also the balance beam just affords a lot more places to lose tenths. Round off, back handspring. There's a 10th or so right there. Alina's a very aggressive performer. Got some nice moves in her exercise.
She would need a 9.7, Gordon, to move into 1st place. And there goes any chance for a gold medal right there. And, of course, that will not hurt Julianne McNamara, who will only have to worry about Maxi Ganauk of East Germany if Julianne can turn in a good routine.
Watch this one arm. Very, very solid.
Watching the Olympic all-around champion.
Well, she's working nice and solid at this point. Being set up for her dismount. A full twisting front somersault, which makes a very difficult landing.
So she finishes with a flourish, but of course her score will be low because of the break earlier in the routine as we have a look back.
Well, let's see if we can determine what caused the problem. It's going to be an aerial front, which is really a front handspring with no hands. Now, you'll notice that her feet land firmly on the balance beam. However, her shoulders are just too far to the right.
And the score, that's reflected, 9.15 for Elena Davidova, who is having some ethyl chloride applied to her ankle, sustaining a slight injury here. Coming up next, of course, will be Julianne McNamara of the United States. There she is, the leader, seeking a gold medal on the balance beam. And we'll be back with her performance in just...
And congratulations on a really marvelous start for your big international debut, the World Championships. It's the first time you're here. You've tied for 7th at the all-around, and now you're leading in the balance beam going into the finals. Now, what kind of pressure do you feel going into the finals in the balance beam in that position?
Well, I'm just going to try to do my best. Usually, beam's one of my weaker events, so I'm really glad that I'm able to compete in finals.
Well, Julianne McNamara doesn't have to worry about Davidova now. Only has to really think about her own performance because she's in first place. She carries in a mark of 9.675 with only Maxi Ganau to follow. So she can put a lot of pressure on Maxi and take a giant step, obviously, toward the first gold medal by a U.S. woman since Marcia Frederick in 1978 with a good routine here.
Well, really, when you think about it, Al, nobody can really beat her. She could beat herself. And that's all she has to prevent, is just beating herself. She's just got to get up and get through the routine that she practices day in and day out. Now watch this one-arm handstand. Oh, that's sensational.
Great beginning.
And I think that she does possess a strong sense of concentration.
Whoa, that's a slight slip there. What do you figure, a 10th for it?
A 10th is maximum.
Okay.
Okay. Very tentative, though.
Mm-hmm.
She's glad to have that one behind her. There's a planche. Nice move. Outstanding. Now she's got a full twister off, and that's it. Al, I think we're looking at another medal winner.
Very possibly Julianne McNamara. As we await her score, Julianne, who has already picked up the bronze medal for her routine in the uneven bars. Definitely a medalist in this event. The big question is, will it be gold? There is a 9.55 for Julianne McNamara, which is hard to believe.
I'm telling you,
almost impossible to believe. Look at the individual scores.
The judging has just been absolutely unbelievable.
There's nothing lower than a 9.7.
I think it's a mistake.
I do too. I think the scoreboard is incorrect.
They've been complaining about the electronic scoring system. It might be a mechanical mistake.
I don't understand what the situation is, because the lowest individual score was a 9.7, and yet up it came with a 9.55. Nevertheless, at the moment, here's Maxi Ganau of East Germany, who has a gold-plated opportunity to pick up a gold medal here simply by virtue of the 9.55 given to McNamara on what appeared to be a much better routine.
And what a great start she had. Back handspring up to the beam. She's done a back summing. She has a painful injury on her heel. So painful that she withdrew from one of the preliminary competitions on the floor exercise. I don't think it's bothering her at the moment. Another tumbling move coming up. Back handspring, slight mistake. Not as great as Julianne's, but slight. Maxie does seem to be coming into her own, doesn't she, Al?
Well, she's trying to make it 3 out of 3. She's already won the vault. She's won the uneven bars. And she's the last competitor now on the balance beam, trying to make it 3 for 3. We saw the 9.55 given to McNamara. What that does, it puts Tracy Talavera in a position where she could win a medal.
Maxie's nearing the end of her exercise, and she has really put one together. Double full twister off. That's really a fine routine. Just that one small mistake.
She needs a 9.7 to finish first. Now, you would think that's worth a 9.7. But then again, we thought that Julianne McNamara's routine was certainly worth a whole lot more than a 9.55 the way the scoring has been going thus far. You can see how disappointed she is, and you can understand why if you saw the routine.
And Roy Kreutzer, her coach, is saying, well, next time, Julianne, we'll get him. Maxie doesn't look any happier, does she?
Well, she doesn't look any happier, but she could be just a few seconds away from her 3rd gold medal. A 9.9 for Maxie Ganauk, giving her another first place. 3 for 3. And in a moment, we'll be back to check the official results of the balance beam.
Right now, you can rent any size gas.
On the left has picked up a bronze medal, and Julianne McNamara on the right finishes 5th, but the mystery has been solved. McNamara's mark was low because she received a 2/10 deduction for going over the time limit.
Now, Al, the officials use this gong for 2 signals. There's first of all a 5-second warning, like that comes up at 1:25 in the routine, and then at 1:30 the second gong means the exercise should have ended. We'll take another look at Julianne McNamara's routine to see if we can figure out just where she added up enough mistakes to go overtime. Handstand was good. It required 2 seconds. Now, Julianne has a reputation for having a long routine, and so the slightest of errors can come like that, where she has to break the rhythm of a routine just long enough to catch her balance. Those small mistakes add one upon the other. Seems to be back into her tempo here. And you know, being charged up, being really super adrenalized, after all, coming into the World Championships as the leader might change your tempo just a little. Up into another handstand. Now, I noticed in her routine that she held this planche both lower and longer than I've ever seen her hold it. Probably, again, because of the adrenaline. And a slight mistake there. Remember, the slightest of errors add up until you have a much larger problem than you think. Now we're going to insert a clock down in the lower right. There's 1:20, 1:21. Listen for the warning. There it is. And now she has to get off. There's 28, 9, and the final, and 1 second over cost her a ton.
Adeptly put, Gordon. The slightest error can compound itself, creates a situation whereby she finishes 5th instead of 2nd. But for Tracy Talavera, it affords her the opportunity to pick up the bronze medal in the event. The winner, Maxie Ganauk of East Germany. Chen Yongyang of China finishes 2nd, with Wu Chan-ni and Tracy Talavera sharing the bronze. For Julianne, she settles for 5th place instead of silver.
An interested spectator here in Moscow is Nadia Comaneci, the star of the 1976 Olympics. As many of you know, her coach, Bella Caroli, has defected to the United States. Nadia is here, but as I say, as a spectator, not as a competitor. Some seem to feel that Nadia has passed up competition at the World Championships because of the marks she received during the 1980 Summer Olympics here in Moscow. Well, our Kurt Thomas talked to her earlier.
Well, Nadia, it's good to see you again, and, you know, we toured together on the last Nadia tour in the States, and how come you're not competing here in this competition?
Because I had the university games in July and then some exams for the university and not enough time to prepare.
So it's basically the exams and you really haven't had time to train, and it's got nothing to do with the scoring or the last time you were here in Moscow?
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people think that, you know, there's a problem in the scoring here. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, sometimes.
Is that one of the reasons you're not competing?
Maybe.
What about Bella? You know, he came to the States and stayed there with us, and what does your country feel about that now?
It was hard for us, but that's the truth now. You can do nothing.
There's nothing you can do.
No.
Do you think it's hurt your program?
Not now, because I have just few years. I don't know yet how much to compete.
What about the younger gymnasts? Do you think that Bella leaving has hurt your team in general?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, because he was a very strict and tough coach. I know you didn't like him very much at times, but he was your coach and he made Nadia. What do you think about him leaving?
I don't know why. It's very sad for us.
It's very sad.
A very candid Nadia, who also told Kurt she's in training for the 1983 World University Games and is thinking of competing in the 1984 Olympics. By the way, the Romanians have not won a medal here in Moscow. The Americans, meanwhile, have won a pair of bronze medals. And when we come back, we'll see the floor exercise and Julianne McNamara's bid for a medal in an event in which she's currently a strong fourth.
I'm sitting right now in ABC Sports Control with the man that Nadia and Kurt Thomas were talking about, Bella Caroli, former coach of the Romanian national team, currently coaching in Oklahoma, Norman, Oklahoma. This is his first appearance on American television, as a matter of fact, since defecting to the United States. Thank you for being with us, Bella. And first of all, when you defected, you and your wife, it must have been with some hesitation. Your little girl was still back in Romania at that time. You weren't sure what would happen there. Did you have fear when you did this?
Oh, yes. We were very decided, you know, and we was thinking very serious about, and after we did this step, we had two main reasons. One was our disagreement with Romanian Gymnastics Federation, which became more acute during the time and the last period, actually in the last period. And another reason was we did almost everything in gymnastics.
Okay. You had accomplished everything that you had set out to do, winning world championships, Olympics, and so forth. But then you say you had disagreements with the Romanian government. What were these disagreements? They must have been very big and important to make you take this step.
Oh, yeah. So we had actually I had my system, and we developed our system during the time, during the past 20 years, based to our practical experience. And we set up a school, a special school. Actually, every member of our national team was the school.
A member of your
yes,
club?
Yes, of my school. So, and they pressed us, you know, to change the line. They pressed us, you know, to do many different kinds of things. Actually, propaganda for them and for Romanian politics system, you know, the social system.
So interrupt your training and the train of training that you wanted to have leading to the championships to do just propaganda for the government.
Yes.
And was some of this just monetary? Did the government need the money?
So, yes, sometime for financial reason and sometime for propaganda reason. Anyway, was no in concordance with my own idea about gymnastics and about sport.
So you came here really for professional reasons, would you say, rather than personal reasons?
I consider professional reasons.
Nadia Comaneci sat there talking to Kurt Thomas at the World Championships, and she said, and she looked like it was true, that she is very sad that you're going. But then Kurt said many times you were really angry with your coach, and she didn't deny that. Did you have a good relationship with Nadia or a bad relationship?
So we had a long relationship.
Number one.
Yes, almost 13 years. So during that time, absolutely normal. We had a very good relationship before and around the Montreal Olympics game. Beautiful relationship, very successful. After World Olympics game, she became a big star. So, and like every big star, she became a little bit more indisciplined. But
head became
anyway,
a little big.
Oh, yes. Yes. So at that time, and she had actually too many temptations at that time. And our federation gave her too many attention, you know. And so, and gave her, proposed her too many things to do. So, and she didn't understand in that time, gymnastics is a hard sport, is a too hard sport to be able to play and to do too many
I think I understand.
Other things.
It's very much like a father saying to his daughter, it's very nice to go to the dance and be in the play in school, but don't forget to study.
Oh,
Coach
yes.
Caroli, it's
Exactly.
been a great pleasure having you with us. I really appreciate your coming in from Oklahoma. Welcome again to America. We'll be back with much more of the World Gymnastics Champions.
Natalia Ilienko has the lead. Elena Davidova of the Soviet Union second. Zoya Grancharova of Bulgaria is third. Julianne McNamara still in contention for a medal. She's fourth.
Earlier, we saw Olga Bicharova in the uneven bars, and as you know, she has won the women's all-around title for 1981. Interestingly enough, though, Gordon, that's the only event that she is eligible to be in here simply because of a quirk in the rules.
It really is a quirk, too. In order to qualify for the finals, you simply have to be in the top 8 in each event from the preliminaries. Now, in order to spread the competition around to the less advantaged countries, the FIG has elected to make a rule saying that only 2 could represent any one country. Now, Olga Bicharova qualified honestly in every event. She finished in second in one event, tie for second, in third in another event, fifth in one event, and sixth in one event. But because teammates were above her in all of those events, she'll only be seen in the one event. Now, I think that any rule that does that to any gymnast from any country has got to be a little suspect.
There's been so much talk about parity in the National Football League over the past year. It would seem there are those who would like to see parity in this sport. We take a look at Elena Davidova of the Soviet Union. Were it not for that rule, Gordon, 5 of the top 6 competitors in this event would have been from the Soviet Union. Instead, we have only 2. Davidova earlier nursing an ankle injury.
And Davidova has been using this routine for at least 3 years that I know of, with very small modification. Ought to be getting it pretty right by now. And I think it's a dynamite routine. Watch this 1.5 Arabian.
Elena Davidova, who won the all-around at the 1980 Olympics here in Moscow, 20 years old.
Very ebullient, a very expressive performer. Got a lot of Olga in her, as a matter of fact. Pull and a half into a bounce front, and she can do that in her sleep.
She's carrying in a mark of 9.875. It's second place, entering the finals to her teammate Ilienko.
Watch the Egyptian movement here now. She loves to do it. When she toured the United States last, about 3 years ago, she had curtain call after curtain call. Here comes her double twister, back for a dismount. Well, Al, it doesn't have enormous difficulty, but it does have fine performance.
A lot of appeal to the crowd, too, as Elena Davidova of the Soviet Union completes her 4 exercise. And she was trailing her teammate Ilienko by only 0.025.
And we'll show you a replay of a move that will really test an otherwise testy ankle. She's going to do a 1.5 twisting back somersault into a bounce front, and the stress is just incredible. There's a full 1.5 twister, bounce into a front, and the G-forces through that ankle are unbelievable.
There it is, a 9.9 for Elena Davidova. The crowd expected a 10. And as you can see there on top, just one judge gave her the perfect mark, but a 9.9 nonetheless for Davidova.
There's a hungry kind of feeling in every...
The leader, Natalia Ilyenko of the Soviet Union, ready for her mount.
Watch this lady dance. She's going to start with a back flip through to a double back somersault. Great tumbling, and then she'll couple that with some very dynamic dancing. Her face is so expressive in her arms and hands. Just terrific.
Ilyenko needs a 9.9 to clinch the gold medal in the floor exercise.
Now she'll be attempting a piked double back for her dismount. That's a sensational exercise. Absolutely incredible.
Natalia Ilyenko may very well have her 9.9 or even better as she tries to wrap up first place in the floor exercise. Let's have another look at the first tumbling run by Ilyenko.
Well, as expressed in this mount, Natalia is not only a dynamic dancer, but she is a phenomenal tumbler. Watch on this back flip through to a double back, the tremendous elevation she gets on the double. There's her back summy. Now watch the lift. Just soars like a bird. And what a nice landing.
A 9.95. And a clinch for Natalia Ilyenko of the Soviet Union. As close to perfection as you can get in the 4X. And Maxi Ganauk, after taking 3, Maxi not even in the finals here. So your other winner today is Ilyenko.
Here is Zoya Grancharova of Bulgaria, who was in 3rd place coming into the finals, carrying a mark of 9.825. If she were to get a 9.95 or a 10, that would shut out Julianne McNamara, cost her any chance to win a medal.
Watch this triple full. Wow. And a disco beat you won't believe. So far, her tumbling is just as good as her dancing. Triple full mount, then a double back for a second pass. She'll be attempting a double back for a final pass also. Now let's just watch her work. Last double back. Well, let's see if the stately ladies of the jury buy the disco beat.
Love the music. Love the routine, too. Zoya Grancharova of Bulgaria. She would need a 9.75 to move into third place. A perfect 10, she'd be in second. There it is, a 9.85 for Grancharova, moving her into third place. Still keeping alive Julianne McNamara's hopes for a medal, but she'd need a truly scintillating performance to get one.
Well, the final competitor of the meet will be America's Julianne McNamara, who would need a 9.95 routine here to wind up in a tie for third place. She's already won a bronze medal today, and she'd need a 10 to get third place uncontested. So Julianne McNamara to wrap up the women's individual finals of the World Championships.
And I must say the judges in floor exercise have been much stingier than in any other event in the finals. Julianne getting set up now for a piked double back somersault for her mount. Nice. Slight mistake there, less than a full 10th deduction.
She's going through this routine, Gordon. Of course, no doubt trying not to think about what happened on the beam, but can you get it out of your mind?
I don't think so. As I watched her walk up, she looked a little dejected, and I thought I'll bet she's a little down. Looks great out.
Julianne carrying in a 9.725 into the finals.
Double full twister. With the exception of a slight mistake on her mount, her tumbling's been flawless. Nice exercise, Al. Yes. I don't think it's a medal performance, but it's really nice.
Yep, especially so in light of the fact what happened on the beam freshened her mind, and nonetheless trying to put that away mentally.
Al, do you realize that she could become the first woman in American history to win 2 medals in the World Championship in the same competition?
If she gets a 9.95, that will be the case. Julianne already taking the bronze medal in the uneven bars. It was Tracy Talavera picking up a bronze on the balance beam.
She liked her performance.
Oh, she did.
Her friends are shouting to her from the end zone there. And I think she's a little glad it's over.
And if Julianne does not medal in this event, let's take a look at what might be the cause. The mount. Going to do a double back somersault. There's her back handspring. Now she's going to be a little short on her pike double back, and that is a somewhat of a deduction that could cost her a medal.
And there's the score, 9.7 for Julianne McNamara of the United States. So in the floor exercise, Natalia Ilyenko of the Soviet Union, the winner. Elena Davidova of the USSR finishes second, and Zoya Grancharova of Bulgaria winds up third. Julianne dropping down to 7th place in the floor exercise event. But nonetheless, Julianne McNamara and Tracy Talavera both pick up medals. It's only the second time in American history that 2 girls have picked up medals at the World Championships. Kathy Johnson and Marcia Frederick each won one in 1978. In just a moment, we'll be back in Moscow to talk with both Julianne and Tracy.
Bronze medal on the balance beam.
Well, I was glad to be done with my routine, and I was also glad to win the medal. So I'm pretty happy.
It looked to us as if you were extremely confident, had everything in control when you were on the beam.
Well, I felt pretty confident. Just, you get nervous always, but that's just part of it.
Julie, you, of course, were not in the top 3 when the uneven bars started, and then wind up with a bronze medal in that event.
Yeah, well, I'm really pleased. That was one of my goals, to make a medal on bars, and I was able to pull up, so I'm really happy.
You were able to do that. Of course, a very disappointing situation on the balance beam where you would have had the silver medal were it not for going 1 second over. How do you feel now?
Well, there's nothing I can do about it now. I gave it my best shot.
Were you aware of it at the time? You were 1 second over the mark?
Well, before I landed, I heard the second bell, which I knew I was overtime. But
one of those things. What went through your mind at that particular time?
Well, I wish I would have gotten off a little faster.
Well, maybe the next time. Anyway, you're both sitting here with bronze medals. Does this make all of the training worth it?
Yep. Yeah,
Tracy?
it does.
Congratulations to you both. We're very proud of you. Well, the World Gymnastics Championships now over, and let's get a closing comment, some thoughts from Gordon Maddox about the way things have gone.
Well, first of all, I am really delighted with the direction that women's gymnastics is taking. I think that the difficult elements that the women perform are taking on a maturity so that they're actually pleasant to watch instead of just terrifying. And I think that women's gymnastics has now moved back into more elegance and more femininity, and that pleases me greatly. But mostly, I'm delighted with the progress these two young ladies have done and hope that this is truly a step forward toward the preparations for the 1984 Olympic Games in Los Angeles.
Well, that's the story for today, with a reminder to join us next month for the World Men's Gymnastics Championships for Moscow, where you'll see the most perfect scores ever awarded in one gymnastics competition. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arledge. Coordinating producer of ABC's Wide World of Sports is Dennis Lewin, who produced today's gymnastics telecast. Our director in Moscow was Bryce Wiseman. Studio segments produced by Peter Lasser and directed by Vince D'Addario. Coordinator Carol Letty. In Moscow, associate producer Peter Diamond. Associate director Norm Samet. Studio technical director Dave B. Next Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, the United States ladies figure